they're talking about like the most random thing possible. Like you would expect it to be like a typical Hollywood.
When did you start watching
Joe
Rogan? Yeah.
Oh wow! When I first started watching him,
It was
when
must
I
have been a
got
while
into
ago.
Jordan Peterson.
Oh, Jordan Peterson, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I watched his stream
Yeah.
when he had Jordan Peterson, and that was probably the only time I watched the full Joe Rogan
Experience.
episode. And then
Yeah.
that was it. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's great. I enjoyed it, but I did watch the Tool one when Maynard came online
Yeah.
and said, hey, you know, we're releasing a new album soon,
Yeah.
and then they released all their content, all their music on line, which was really interesting. And we're live.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, we're live.
We're talking about what? Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. It's actually one of the topics we have for you folks today. So welcome to the stream. We're a few minutes early. We thought we'd get things out of the way because if you joined us last week, you may have noticed that we got cut off. Very quickly got cut off by a
YouTube Ninja.
YouTube Ninja took us down. So this week we are hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it was so relevant for last week as well because we were talking about Ghost of Tsushima, which involved ninjas as well.
Ghost of Sushi.
Yeah, Ghost of Sushi. The sushi train. The Ghost Sushi train.
So we got taken down. But yeah, so one of the topics is Joe Rogan, and we're just talking about how and when we actually first watched a Joe Rogan.
The first experience.
The first
Joe Rogan show.
When was your first time with Joe?
With Joe, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I first found him when I was getting into Jordan Peterson because there was a guy at work. Like, I said, "Oh, have you heard about this book,
Yeah.
12 Rules to Life?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, Jordan Peterson. I'm fully into him." And then he started telling me about how he listens to these podcasts of the Joe Rogan Experience. And which took me onto that. Like, there was this connection, and then I started watching them, and I was like, oh man, these are great.
Wow.
This guy is so open-minded, and it doesn't follow your typical Hollywood mainstream.
Is there an echo? Hang on. We got an echo? Thanks for letting us know.
Oh, we got an echo.
RTX is still there. There we go, and that should be fixed, my friends. Thank you very much thanks, Dean. Really appreciate that.
Dean.
We had run into some trouble before where our audio was a bit off, but this time around we've got that hopefully down pat.
Yeah.
So when I heard about Jordan Peterson, I saw a video of his about this is not a Bible series that he did as a lecturer, and it was really fascinating because he was talking about what was it called? It's like levels of hell. Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. So I was just watching the podcast and whatnot, and then that whole thing happened with him out front of the university when he spoke against the Canadian rules of having to use people's pronouns. And once that sort of blew up, you can sort of see it in the book, and
there were protesters outside and all of that. Yeah.
But he did some really cool podcast episodes of different YouTubers at the time because he wasn't big, so it was just YouTubers who were picking him up. It was funny because I find that when you're on YouTube, right, you're quite a big celebrity. Like, look at Pewdiepie, right? He's got 100 million subscribers, right? That's 100 million people that will get a notification every time he makes a video. And then you have something like a TV. Now, last time I saw, and we can talk about Catwoman, by the way, if anybody watches that show, we'll talk about that.
Catwoman TV show?
There's a Catwoman TV show. And there's also a Superwoman.
Oh, like
a
Supergirl.
Yeah,
right.
Supergirl.
Yeah, I know about that one. Yeah.
But what happened was, you've got that many people. So at what point is TV bigger than being on YouTube? Because TV actually has only... most shows have like 600,000 people watching at like that first episode. Like Catwoman had that.
Well, actually, the thing is, the biggest streaming platform on the planet is YouTube, right? And Netflix is like the second on the list. So YouTube is the biggest media threat to every single existing platform.
TV especially, yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, and all of that, like they're all beneath YouTube. YouTube is the number one platform for all media.
All those late night show talk hosts, they're all on YouTube now, making these little clips and clever clips. Yeah. And I saw this interview with somebody a famous guy from YouTube. He comes on to that show and he's like, "Oh, welcome, Mr. YouTuber. Good boy. Well done. Look at you." And everybody's, the guy, the YouTuber's like, "Well, hang on, like, pretty big. Like compared to you guys only get what, maybe a couple of million people, watching. I've got like billions of views, like
billions. Yeah.
And it's a different generation. It's that whole TV generation, which I think is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
In any case, friends, it's Techman Pat here, and
Casper from Game with Casper.
Welcome to another show, another State of the Beanstalk. We've got some great topics for you today. We're going to talk about Crucible. We're going to meme on that because that's really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you all heard about that one. But we talk about Joe Rogan. We did talk about it a little bit before if you guys joined us earlier. But we will talk about him. And what have you guys got on your side?
Oh, my plate. I guess I just want to briefly talk about Sony. Some Sony stuff that came out this week, like PlayStation 5 specifically. They're saying that it's 100 times faster. So just want to briefly talk about that. That's been going around. I think it was the CEO himself that made that claim or made that public statement. So I just want to break it down a little bit.
And I wanted to, if we still get enough time today, folks, we'll talk about HBO Max and Binge, which is the Australian version of it. And I want to talk about PCIe 4 and why you should not buy the latest Intel, but maybe the latest AMD.
Oh.
All right, roll the intro. And we're back. Thank you very much, everyone.
Hey.
So, all right, let's start with what did you do last week? And do tell me, because I'm sure everybody would be keen to know what exactly happened to your show,
my
to your
show.
Game with Casper during the big
Oh,
stream.
yes, I had a bit of a breakdown. So throughout the week, as I was streaming on Twitch, as I usually do, I was playing the game Dark Souls 3.
Ooh,
and
spooky.
yeah, spooky. But the spookier thing that happened was my computer just completely froze. Like the system just froze. I looked on my screen on my computer as I was playing the game, and my face is frozen, the game is frozen, and the CPU, I could hear it like throttling, like the fans were going maximum speed, and I was like, oh god, this is really bad, can't do anything. The buttons on the PC are not even working, so I had to turn it off at the power supply.
AKA full freeze.
Full freeze, yeah, maximum freeze. The thing is, obviously called my main man, Tickman Pat here, to help out with the issue because I was stumped, like couldn't even figure out what the hell was the problem. Like every time I tried to do a test on the CPU, it would freeze when it would get to 100% as well. So I think it took us like a couple of days to get to the issue, right? To find out what is the problem with the...
Couple of days or couple of hours?
Oh, well, we were trying to do it on that one night, and then we just gave up. We took the PC apart, played around with the batteries and things, and took bits out.
Oh, yes,
bits back in.
It was the next day,
morning,
wasn't it?
yeah, we were playing with it again because it got to a point where you just couldn't turn the thing on. Like you just press the button and it would just go full throttle. So you get no picture, but it just makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, and that's so one of the, I suppose, the ways we troubleshoot computer problems to go part by part, right? So, okay, the computer's not turning off. So let's take things out, everything out, except the things that makes it, turn on. So we leave those parts in, and then they turn. If it doesn't turn on, then we take the next step of resetting the BIOS. So to do that, take out the CMOS battery. But I suppose it depends on, again, your problem. But in this case, even that didn't help the first time around until you took the whole thing out of the case.
Took the whole thing apart bit by bit, then put it back together again, and then it actually booted. And then we were able to go to BIOS, change the settings.
So the thing we found, and this is with the AMD 3600, was it Ryzen 5 3600X?
Yep.
X. So with that in mind, that CPU is very picky with the RAM that it works with, right? So you have to pick the right RAM for it, and you can look up, I suppose,
A list of
guides,
compatible
compatible
RAMs,
ones.
yeah.
And I really suggest with AMD at the moment because it's such a new platform. It's not as mature. I mean, if we look back to the Phenom, after Phenom, whatever the versions came after, were a mess, like an absolute mess. So the Ryzen series has been really good. So once you realize that you have to first make things compatible, which we've never had to do that for a long time. Like when I was building computers for such a long time, never had to worry about it. You just go buy RAM, boom, as long as it's the same DDR, right? But then the BIOS has some peculiar settings, and the setting that was affecting Casper's computer is called the C mode, which is basically putting to sleep certain cores in the CPU during it not being used, right? And the problem was that once you ramp up over time and then suddenly maybe ramp down or even go further, those cores would not turn on and the computer would freeze. So turning that off helped, and then obviously turning off some settings for overclocking of RAM. So if you guys are having any issues, then yeah, give that a go. That's always helpful. Hey G-Man. Yeah,
hey G-Man.
Welcome. So that's interesting. And so you've done one now, and it works.
Yep. Yeah, it works perfectly. Ran the CPU test, maximum speed for like 10 minutes, 100%. It was working well, so no issues now. Back in business.
Yeah, so you can test it with IDA 64. It's
Yep.
a trial version, but I think there's a free version, which is a
Yeah.
pure CPU stress test.
Yeah, you can get like the pro version, but like for 30 days, I think. Free.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you're doing one test a year, I think you can reinstall it, especially if you have a different motherboard and CPU. You wouldn't even recognize that it's the same device.
That's right.
All right, let's talk Crucible.
All right, so there's a new
Whoa.
game that came out this week. So it's from Amazon Studios. As you know, they're getting fully into the gaming scene, and it's called Crucible. Now, you can get this game on Steam for free right now. You can jump into it. Unfortunately, for the consoles, PS4, Xbox, all of that, it's not available yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did release it on the next-gen consoles. So what is the game about? It's kind of like something along the lines of like Overwatch and Dota mixed into one. So, you know, you've got the different streams, and there's like a capture the flag mode, and there's a battle royale mode in it as well. I think the reviews are kind of lukewarm at the moment.
Yeah, mixed, 43%.
They are mixed. There's about 10 different characters that you can choose within the game. Ones, you know, that will suit your various play styles. And people are currently stuck in this mode where they're asking themselves, what is this game? Like, where does it fit in? Because there's so many genres just compressed into one. You know, you've got like RPG modes, you've got like the whole first-person shooter, the capture the flag stuff. Like, there's just a whole bunch of modes squeezed into one.
Let us know in the comments if you want Casper to play it on stream.
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun.
If you guys want to get a preview of it, let me know. I'm happy to display it, to jump in. Alternatively, I'm still smashing through Dark Souls 3, and it's really crushing my personal soul. So hopefully I can get through that soon.
It looks interesting. Like I'm just playing it through here. It shows a little bit of the HUD. So it's third person. It looks like, and it's very colorful. It's very colorful.
It's like you're on this alien world basically in this game.
It reminds me of oh god, what's that? There was a game on Steam, and I might have to log into Steam to have a look at it. But it was from a TV show, or maybe it was the other way. It was like a game connected to a TV show, and it had that New Zealand actor that played on that. God, this is terrible. It was a TV show of
Trying to make the links.
Yeah, I'm getting the links. I'm getting there. So he played on a TV show. He was the father. His name was Wolf. It was a character in the show, and it was a bunch of families. It's from Henderson, West Auckland.
Right.
Do you remember that show? They used to film around our area.
Nah, man.
No?
I'm stuck.
Oh God.
I'm stuck as you are.
Yeah, I'm stuck on that one. But anyway, that actor went into this TV show, and then they made a game that events in the game happened, and then they would happen in the TV show, or vice versa. You'd have events happening.
Them.
Yeah, they linked them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And over time, now it lasted the season of the show, but it was never a big game. But what it was exactly like this. It was open world though, so you had all these missions, but it was so closely related to. But I just the colors remind me of it. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
What else has Amazon made?
I actually don't know. I think they're fresh into the gaming market right now. So I think they're really putting a lot of resources now and trying to compete with all the other major platforms.
So we've got New World, which is coming up, pre-purchase, and it looks interesting. I think this one's open world, MMO or just RPG, not sure. But it looks like a bit of a not Skyrim, but the one before that, Oblivion.
Right.
And not because of the graphics. I don't really care about the graphics from a game that's a new IP, because I think a lot of effort goes into making it actually nice and functional. And then when you have more money as a studio, you get to pump more, cash into the sort of the design part of it. And since this is a very fresh studio, Amazon Games, but looks really cool as a game. Now, I haven't found... I don't want to turn off the audio. We don't want to get snapped by the YouTube gods.
No.
I want to find another RPG that I can sink a couple of hours into, and especially this one comes out on the 26th of August, and that's way before our favorite game,
Cyberpunk.
Yeah. So hopefully I can sink some hours into this. I have found that I haven't had as much time to game as of late with YouTube and whatnot. I've been putting a bit of effort into that.
Yeah.
So, if it hooks me, then it means that it's much more worthwhile than doing YouTube.
Yeah, dude, check it out. I mean, with Amazon Studios, the interesting thing is they'll be jumping on board. Like, you can see this big colossal machine that is Amazon that will be making headlines throughout next gen.
There was a chart about what Amazon actually does. Amazon chart of products. Services actually.
Because they're diversifying at such an exponential rate.
Yeah, there was this chart that I saw a little while back which compared what they do to what everybody else is offering.
You got some love sent your way, man.
Hello. I love you too.
Yeah.
Look, I guess I can't really find it here, but Amazon has an answer to everything. They have obviously a platform to sell products. They have an answer to a streaming service. They have an answer to the music service, Amazon Music. They also have a cloud offering. They've got their books, which is also a little bit of a separate thing because that's actually like a streaming service of books, right? They also have now a gaming division of Amazon.
Platform.
Like, how is that? Who? Just insane that this company is just like, okay, we're going to go into this. We're going to just pump money into it. And then bam, we're all of a sudden big.
Yeah.
It's insane the amount of money and play they have.
See, this is how I imagine it's like they're at this big board meeting and then Jeff Bezos just walks into the room and he's like, all right, what haven't we done yet? And it's like, fast food. All right, Amazon fast food. Here we go. Like, they're just diversifying so much. And they are like they're the top, right? The top company in the world? Or one of the top? Like, because...
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he's like the wealthiest man on the planet.
I think AWS is certainly...
So we think.
Yeah, Amazon is certainly the biggest sort of company there. I wonder if I can find this chart of growth, Bitcoin, essential size. It's just services or departments.
But you know what? It's only in the last decade where I personally have felt their growth or their presence when they've come to Australia with their platform of streaming, Amazon Prime, and also their deliveries. Before that, I mean, I wasn't really thinking much about them at all. Just mainly like their eBay service, really.
Yeah. So all I knew about Amazon before they actually made a shop here was that they had a cloud service in Sydney.
Right.
The AWS service. And that was huge. You had every single app that you wanted to make money off, you would put on AWS because it was a little bit cheaper back then. I don't know. I can't remember how much it was per hour. I think it might have been 8 cents or something per hour, depending on how much CPU or RAM and data you actually used, depending on what it did. I actually had a service on Amazon until smaller Australian companies popped up and said, we'll do a service. It was half the price of Amazon. I think Amazon was costing me $280 back per month to run a service for like 3 people.
Wow.
It was insane, right?
Yeah.
So I moved it off to an Australian provider and very happy with them. Same sort of setup. Like it was just copy and clone, but obviously not with the connections that AWS had because they had very powerful services.
Very powerful, Which then begs the question, with all this diversification going on, will Amazon ever get into the market of creating their own console or something along the lines of what Google is doing with Stadia? Google Stadia, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they could potentially compete with that?
That is a very good question. So Stadia is, I think, so far it's been a failure. Now, let me know in the comments, guys, if you disagree or agree.
Kind of.
To me, it's a failure so far.
I think it's kind of before its time. Like it's come a little bit too soon. I think timing is very critical to any business growth and survival. So I think they're premature.
Right, but there was 3 or 4 services before Stadia. And right now,
I don't even know about them.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
Yeah.
So GeForce, I think, and even... Look, Australia, don't bother with any of these game streaming services. It's just not going to work until a company as big as Amazon and Google actually put data centers locally.
True.
But GeForce, I was in the US, in Denver, and I had gigabit internet, and GeForce gaming streaming, it's free, and it worked like magic.
Really? NVIDIA had its own service?
NVIDIA has its own service.
Whoa.
You hook it up to a TV, like an Apple TV. Oh, sorry, the Shield, the NVIDIA Shield. Got a little controller. It was brilliant. I was able to play a couple of games.
Yeah. See, the Shield thing though, it's not that prominent. It's not that massive.
No, not at all. It's popular amongst the Android sort of crowd because it's the only. Not the only Android TV box. There's a shitload of Android TV box, but it's the only one that is fully supported by a big company, and it's not a shill nor a scam, and it has proper hardware built in and proper support.
Yeah.
Because you can buy one from eBay for like $30, like a Android box that will play TV.
Yeah, true.
But it's crap. It's not that great. And so you find that, first of all, it doesn't get updates. It doesn't have the latest Android, version. And that's really bad for Android devices when they don't even get updated. I think that's pretty bad for for a device like that that's supposedly, supposed to last you a little bit longer than a couple of months, 6 months. I've had a few, and they don't last very long.
Oh, wow. That's budget.
Apps just stop working and so on. So, yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Yes, we can. So we talked a little bit about Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we had Joe Rogan, we jumped into Crucible, Amazon games, and now we're talking about potential of Amazon diversifying into streaming gaming like Google does.
And the reason we got onto that was because of the Culling, which is a new game that came out by Amazon.
Yeah.
And then there's another...
Crucible, you mean.
Sorry, Crucible. No, the Culling is something else.
Yeah.
Crucible right here.
Yeah, Crucible is a new game.
Yeah.
That's out now, free on Steam if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, give it a go.
Have a jam on it. Give it a go.
It's mixed though, so that's the only...
That's the thing. Yeah. People don't know where they want to put this game in. Like, is it good in any of these streams that it
is it competitive? Is it fun?
Yeah.
Will it bring people back? Is there enough content for people to actually come back?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem quite there yet.
Because Valorant, is it Valorant?
Yes.
Valorant that jumped onto the scene, they have actually been doing a fantastic job. Well, everyone's loving it.
Yeah, people have been laughing when it first came out, going, it's just CSGO with magic.
Yeah, but
people
hell, are they're just drawn to it for some reason.
They're playing
because of the design of how well it performs, of the actual, they managed to get the fun factor right.
Yes,
I think that's what these guys are doing. And Epic Games is actually diversifying so well with that. They're gonna be creating a fighting game now as well, based on the characters from League of Legends too.
Really?
Yeah. Which, is getting the fighting community a bit interested as well.
Whoa,
it's like, we've seen a bit of the footage now. This could be good. So, once again,
I'm looking forward to checking that out. I like that the Japanese fighting game we played on stream. On your stream a little while back, I really enjoyed that one. Not because I was
Guilty
winning,
Gear, yeah.
It was really cool, yeah.
Yeah, the latest version of that, the Guilty Gear Strive, is actually delayed now. Supposed to come this year, but it'll be 2021 early, and because of the pandemic that we've had.
And that's how we got onto Amazon, and and the question came up, will Amazon become a streaming service like Stadia or GeForce Now?
And that's how I met your mother.
Have you finished watching? Did you end up ever watching?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the whole thing?
The whole thing.
I have not watched a single episode.
Loved it. Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. You should check it out.
Is it as good as Sunny in California?
I don't know. See, I haven't watched that.
So Philadelphia.
Maybe we could trade shows. I'll watch yours, you can watch mine.
I might have to check it out. I can't find the time. I find the time, I watched, what's it called? Westworld Season 2. Finally finished it, and that's from 2018.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
So Season 2?
Yeah, Season 2. I think it ended in I need to check, but
yeah. What was our next topic?
Let's go on to our next topic. Look, Amazon, they probably will, because if they're getting into gaming, they're probably going to do a streaming service. I think they're really watching how the other Google and everybody else does it, because what they do really well is look at something like a service and just go, we can do that. and then they just do it there, like fairly similarly.
Yeah.
But they just do it, and they don't then innovate on top of it, because
True.
their Amazon Video, terrible app, freezes, super slow, horrible UI.
Oh, it is.
But
That's
it works,
so
right?
True. Yeah. Amazon Video it freezes on like the app freezes on my TV.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. Yet they have so many TV shows and things to watch.
Yeah, it's
Like,
actually really good. I've
they've
been
got-
watching more Amazon than
Yeah.
Netflix.
They have great partnerships, yet somehow their software just sucks.
Doesn't keep up.
Yeah.
And one thing to sort of mention about that Amazon is most people have it because they have Prime.
Yeah.
Free shipping.
Free shipping. That's
And-
why I love it. It's like I have Amazon Prime. I should just ship things to my house. Like you just want to buy things
Yeah,
because you get the
because
free
it's
shipping.
free shipping of anything over $49.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get free music, basic music,
Sure.
and the streaming. Like, when's the last time you paid $6 a month for something like that?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's
Hammy, we've got that. We've got that as a
that's
topic.
that's coming up
we're,
soon.
We're coming up to that one. We're going to talk about the next one, which is called The Culling.
the Culling. See, I don't think I've ever played that.
No, you wouldn't have, because it
Yeah.
came out.
Mm.
It was terrible, full of bugs, and then they're just like, "Yeah, we're going to close it down for now."
Was it? Oh wait, is it something that was supposed to compete with the likes of Fortnite and PUBG?
Yes, it was. It looks exactly like PUBG.
I think I have seen a review of it on like Game Ranks or something like that.
Yeah,
And it was just total trash.
Yeah, it's trash, and
Yeah.
it looks trash. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks complete trash. Now,
Oh, man.
what they've actually done, and this is, I suppose, the issue. The issue here is that they went ahead and created a really bad monetization scheme. Yeah, and after all, yes, it's a scheme. Afternoon there, Ranihi, Ajit. I'm gonna have a really bad time pronouncing people's names if there's people actually with unique names or.
Yeah, apologies,
Yeah.
guys. We're bad at reading. Let's just be honest.
So what they've done, and I want to see your face because you don't know about this, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I want to see your face in this.
Okay, reaction time.
Reaction time.
Yeah.
The game is like PUBG,
Right.
and their monetization is that every time I can't keep it straight. But every time you log in,
Right.
you get one free token to play one game, and then
Right.
you have to buy tokens to play more. For I think it's $3.99, so like $4 or $5 for like 7 tokens or something.
Just to play a single game.
No, one round
One round.
of like a pub. You know how PUBG, like you could spend half an hour playing in a whole round, or you could just land and get killed in 3 seconds. But you get one free one per day.
Oh my god. That's like, it's like going to an arcade and putting money in. Like, but it's a virtual version of that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But there's so many platforms that do it for free and do it so much better. Like,
Yes.
why?
But
Is this a very small, poor developer?
yeah,
like a-
it is. But they had some support from Xbox or something like that. One thing to add: the game
they're gonna
costs.
get no player base. Yeah.
The game costs $5 to buy.
Uh,
So you buy it for $5, and then the only way you play it is one time per day, one round. Oh, sorry.
for free,
unless
right?
you win, you get another round for free.
right.
But
So
if you get 100 people in it, or 60 people, whatever it is, and then they play it,
But to win, you gotta be like the king of the hill. You
Yeah.
have to kill everyone or make
Yeah.
sure everyone dies, which is really, really hard. To
it's
be the
very
last
difficult
man
to get
standing.
chicken
Right.
dinner. It's very difficult.
Very.
Do you remember that one time I got it? We were playing together,
Yes.
and you got shot maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes in, and I
Yeah,
spent
yeah.
another like 20 minutes by myself.
I know. I was just like sitting on the sidelines watching you run around. I'm like, he's still alive.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think a highlight of PUBG. I remember. Big brain monetization. You're not
Oh
wrong.
My God.
So there it is. People are really upset. So 2 days later, they released this. The guy, this developer, one of the main developers, released a diary and said blah blah blah. Really excited, see you on the battlefield, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they changed their mind and they allowed 10 free games per day.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm not surprised. Like there isn't like a background full of cash and like a vault behind him as he's giving this diary.
But they don't have a player base. They don't have players. They released a game. Nobody people started playing it because it was popular at the time, but it
Yeah.
was too buggy, so they removed it from the store, recreated, worked on it, and then re-released it, resold it again. Those who bought it could get another version, but to play it, you had to have that one-time token, and then or buy more tokens.
That's horrible.
No, it's
never gonna play
a joke.
it. Never gonna happen.
And look, the dev made a whole bunch of excuses to say, we're just, doing what we can. We really thought we were really excited about this monetization thing. It was really going to work. We really believed in it. But you know what? We just forgot to add the 0 to the 1. And,
Yeah.
So, look, they said
exactly
that they wished it went differently. And then they changed it to 10. But that doesn't change the fact that people probably won't watch it or play it. Because
there'll still be like a small, crew of people that will support it to an extent. But then I think once the posts on Reddit get really sour, I think that's when the community will just crumble.
This is a couple of days old anyway, so I suppose we're a bit late to the party. But it is, I suppose, it's not very good.
Not good.
That's it. That's what we have to say about the culling.
Yeah.
You as a company, if you're going to create a monetization scheme that doesn't actually let you play the game, even mobile games, when they're really bad, they still let you play the game.
Yeah. So this was a lesson of how not to monetize your game. Just don't do it.
Yeah. All right. Next one up. Let's talk about
Mr. Rogan, the man of
Rogan.
the hour. He's like the biggest podcaster on the planet. He makes something like I think he's made like $10 million alone on podcasting. Yeah, he's the guy who makes the biggest income of podcasting, and I find he's great because he brings such a human aspect to it. Because when you watch a podcast, many of you will probably have seen it, but you watch it and the way that it starts is like they're just having a casual conversation about something random that has just popped into their brains, and the conversations flow in a way as they would naturally when you're talking to your friends.
Yeah.
You have these links in your brain from one topic to the next, and when you're sitting there as a bystander or when you're watching it, you actually feel like you're a part of the conversation. You're a part of the crowd, and you think, oh wow, yeah, that's something that I would say. Oh, that's something that I would think about. Oh, that's an interesting take on that. And you feel like you're there, but you're not really taking a turn to speak, but you're just kind of like, like you're at the dinner table with them.
Yeah, enjoying the discussion.
Yeah.
His style of questions.
Oh, it's brilliant, right?
So good. It always brings out more information from the person that's on there.
Yeah.
So
Rogan the philosopher, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He does. I've watched a few recently after the whole debacle with Jordan Peterson and all that stuff. I started watching him more often.
Yeah.
And then when you put out, I think, a link about something, I watched that one. And he talks really, really well. He says his opinion, but then he gets the other person to try and like add to it, and he's really good at that. It's a very good skill. But do you know what I remember him from?
From like the wrestling thing? Not the wrestling thing.
Fear
MMA.
Factor.
Oh, I remember from that as well. But I was gonna say, because he was a presenter for MMA, right? It's like
yes,
some sort of
he is.
UFC.
You caller for UFC.
Yeah, UFC. That's right. That's yes. And what else was I gonna say about him? Oh, it's just slipped my mind.
Fear Factor, the UFC. He's done a lot. He does a lot of stuff.
He does so much stuff. But the thing is, like you said, he has his take on it, and he has zero judgment of what the other person is bringing across the table. Like an interviewer, he never attacks.
Oh, stand-up.
Oh, he's stand-up. Yeah, he's big with stand-up, of course. He did that for a long time, and he still does it every now and then. He never really attacks, and he never ever makes the person feel uncomfortable in his. He has this ability to be so open-minded. I think it's
he follows the conversation. Sorry, he follows the other person's state of mind. That's what I found. When he's talking, he follows through and goes, "Oh, you mentioned this. Oh, let's." He follows the path of that person's mind, because that's what a podcast should be. Yeah. Especially when you're interviewing a person who's not always on the show, so it's a new person every time.
Yeah.
And his ability to like work off different people is amazing. Like that's
right.
Very impressive.
He has two key things. He has compassion and he has curiosity.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the two key criteria that make him so good. And don't get me wrong, when he has people on his channel who say things that are just inappropriate or his moral compass doesn't align with,
Yeah.
he will address it, and he
does.
will stand his ground and say, you know, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's humane. I think that is wrong. Like, he will actually address it right there and then. And he's done that for his whole life. He's trained himself so well to stand his ground on certain matters and to provide a debate, like a rebuttal, a robust rebuttal against these matters. So
Absolutely impressive. And I suppose this is no surprise that somebody has signed him on exclusively. We first had Ninja get signed up by Mixer, the streaming platform for Microsoft.
Right.
Ninja's the guy who does Fortnite.
Oh, okay. I don't
Biggest
know much about
Fortnite
it. He has
streamer.
weird color hair. Is that
Yeah.
the thing? Okay,
And he
cool.
did this New York event where he tried to hype the crowd out in New York Town Square for a New Year's party.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, he's like, yeah, let's get going. And there's like a video and everybody's like,
Oh, they weren't feeling it.
they were not, you know.
Wow. So the thing is, maybe he doesn't in person. He might not have that level of charisma, but online, where people just sit back and they don't have any. There's no emotional response. You know, that's where he probably builds his fan base of, like, you know, passive viewers in a way, as opposed to, like, you know, he doesn't have that charisma perhaps.
No, and look, New York was not the right crowd to hire him to do something like this. That was just not the right spot. So then we had PewDiePie.
Should have got Joe Rogan, man. He would have get the crowd
hell
going.
Hell yeah. He would have been it would have been great.
Yeah.
But PewDiePie got signed to YouTube after YouTube kind of disliked him because of his comments about the da-da-da-da-da. We don't need to mention it because we'll get screwed by YouTube like we did last week. Sorry about that. If whoever was watching last week, we got owned. And we have no idea why, because 10 minutes later, it said, apologies, we've made a mistake. Here's your stream back. And we couldn't reconnect either. So then, Joe Rogan gets signed by Spotify. Now, Spotify, in my mind, has been going a little bit down since things like Google Music and Apple Music.
Oh, really?
But they have the best music mixes, the playlist that people make.
Right.
I think that's probably the benefit of it.
So, Joe Rogan going onto Spotify, what will that mean for his viewers? What will change? Do we know?
Well, is he still going to be on YouTube though?
Because if he's transferring over from YouTube, because, you know, they can't have competing platforms, right?
No,
you can't
that's
be
right.
both on YouTube and Spotify.
No more YouTube.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I had that, what was I doing? I was doing something and I was reading about it. It's like, oh, he's not going to lose YouTube. YouTube must be such a big income earner for him. But obviously, Spotify must be paying him so much more to be on just on Spotify. And I wonder if that means it's digital, if it's...
This is where I think that YouTube, if they haven't already, they might pitch a counter offer to say...
You reckon?
Yeah, they might approach him and they say, look, we, you know, got some info that you've been, you know... poached by Spotify. You know, what's your price? You know, because I think he's a big money maker for YouTube.
Well, yeah.
To lose him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's what? How many subs does Joe have?
Well, let's have a look.
20 million, 10 million, or maybe like 10 million.
I don't want to click on. If I click on a video and it starts playing, we're gonna get
maybe
troubles.
just go like. Just pause it.
There we go.
He has what? Okay, he's coming up to 10 million subs, right? I remember where he was like 3 million or something. This guy's growing like exponentially fast. But I think he's got the potential to be one of the huge channels for YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's a shame that he's moving off.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that for him to grow bigger than 10 million though, or bigger on YouTube, he needs to move on a platform that's specific for podcasts. And Spotify is actually probably a good move for him because people have access to it on phones, and not a lot of people. Like, I mean, look, you've got 400k views, 1.1, 3.1, 1 million views.
Yeah.
1 million views for a video is not a lot for somebody like Joe Rogan.
But like a big celebrity.
Like a big celebrity. So obviously he's getting more, I suppose, viewership on just the audio style.
Oh, right.
So if he goes onto Spotify...
Oh, that's a shame. I miss... because you know how he has big celebrities on the show?
Yeah.
I like seeing them there. Because when he had Robert Downey Jr., right?
Yeah.
And I was so so mesmerized by like just watching them and listening to them at the same time. I was actually watching the thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
and I was like, I would miss that factor if it was just like, you know, him and a celebrity that I might like. You don't get that visual stimulus.
No,
I
you're
suppose.
right, and I really enjoyed seeing celebrities that you don't get to necessarily see often in person, and that doesn't work for movies, right, or TV shows. But somebody like the lead singer of Tool, which I have just I said it in the start of the stream.
No idea.
Sorry, the lead singer of Tool. He's every time I've seen him on stage, he's either right in behind someone or in the center amongst all these weird lights with fancy choreography and things. You can't see his face and you can't see exactly what he looks like. He's always in the shadows, right? And he likes it that way. That's just his thing. And I watched a documentary about him. It was the first time I really saw his face sort of, work, in person, really, like as close as I can get. And having him on a chat like this and having him go back and forth and chat between Joe Rogan and him, you're right, it is so much more interesting watching a person's facial expressions and seeing how they speak or what their mannerisms is, and it actually adds context to what they're saying.
Exactly, especially when there's moments of silence and you see the cogs spinning, or you see them to really reflect and think about something, or when somebody has an emotional response, you see their eyes tear up, you see their face twitch or do whatever it does, or cringe or whatnot. It's just, it misses that element of it. But like you said, and you're probably right, the fact is that a lot of people use it simply as a podcast. They listen to it on the train, on the bus, at work, doing whatever. He probably gets a lot more people
millennials, man. Millennials. They don't care about it. I was just going to say, if you keep hitting the thing, I think we get some
vibrations.
I get some vibrations through the mic. With that in mind, do you think people who have been used to watching him on YouTube are going to be upset that he's not on YouTube anymore?
I would. I would, because
would you stop listening to him? Would you go out of your way to find him on Spotify? Would you subscribe to Spotify for him?
You have to pay for Spotify, right?
Yeah. Well, no, sorry. Well, hang on. Let's back it up. You can get free Spotify, but it's ad supported.
Oh,
and you can't skip
songs, like YouTube, right?
Yeah, this is very similar to.
You know what? I will. I don't use Spotify. I don't listen to it. I don't use it at all. I will not be watching Joe Rogan anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. Guys, let us know in the comments. Are you going to move to Spotify when he does? Since I don't know if the deal's gone through yet, because 15 hours he released another one, but he's been at it. 1,479.
Yeah, he's up to 1,500 episodes.
That's a lot. All right, let's talk Foxtel, since we're talking about videos and stuff.
All right, what's Foxtel doing?
Well, first of all, 3 things are happening. First of all, Foxtel is being Foxtel.
Oh, as always.
As always.
Stealing your money.
But they are releasing an app called Binge. It is actually the same thing as HBO Max, which is what we've got here on the screen. And what we're, I guess, looking at here is that HBO, and I talked about this in a video I think I'm going to release tomorrow, so it's a bit of a spoiler if you're going to watch that tomorrow. But HBO Max and HBO is owned by Warner Media. And Warner Media has a lot of shows that it owns. You know who Warner Media is, right? Yeah. But I don't think they have enough to be as big as Netflix and go into a country like Australia and set up. It's very expensive for them to do so. So they use a company like Foxtel, which then actually takes the burden of being set up, takes the burden of redistributing the media, and just pays a royalty. And that's what Binge is. Binge is an app that's going to have all the HBO Max and all the other HBO content and Warner Media content on one app, but it's managed by Foxtel. Now, Foxtel has KO, which is a sports version of a streaming app, and they also have Foxtel, which is obviously the general thing. So this Binge thing is going to have all the HBO stuff, which you usually would pay almost $60 or $70 a month on Foxtel to have. But now it's going to be on an app that costs, well, starting at $10. And that is what HBO Max. So it's bringing a lot of shows. Oh, it's $12 in in America. That's interesting.
$12. What a rip.
Or $15 at launch, pre-order discount, $12 monthly rate.
Wait, so
and
Australia will be how much?
$10 Australian dollars. Yeah,
That's a
for one
bargain.
SD stream.
But like it's just like HBO, right? So how much will they actually have? I know they have some super high quality stuff. Oh, whoa, 18,000 movies.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's not possible. I mean, here in Australia, we have Netflix. We have like 1,200?
6,000 shows?
Now 6,000.
There's 6,000 titles. And what HBO itself, just to note, guys, it's a little bit different in Australia.
Right.
Not all 18,000 movies and shows are going to be on this app. This is purely for HBO content. So it's going to be all Game of Thrones, Westworld, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because like Netflix America and Netflix Australia are very different in terms of how much content they have available for the viewers, right?
Last time I checked, Australia had 6,220 something.
Right.
I don't know why I'm going down to that detail. And then America had about 12,000 plus.
Okay, they have twice as much, which I'm guessing is going to be the same case.
Yeah,
here with
absolutely.
HBO.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I'd be enticed, there's so many platforms now. Like, what about you guys? What platforms are you sticking with and why? That's what I'd be interested to know. Me personally, myself, I've got Prime because of the deliveries. It's awesome. And I've got Netflix because it seems to be the thing that you need to, be relevant in conversations at work. I find everybody's got some sort of a Netflix show they want to talk about, and you want to be in it. You want to be a part of the crowd, and I feel like it's the thing to do. And it was like one of the first platforms here in Australia, right? Apart from Stan?
No, Stan came after.
Stan came after.
Netflix is 2015.
So Netflix, the first stream platform in Australia. We got Lewis sticking with YouTube and Netflix. Yeah, fair call. Yeah, YouTube's huge, actually.
It's huge,
fair call.
yeah.
I use YouTube so much as well. I would say probably more than any other platform.
I'm trying to find the list of TV shows for binge.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who is a Foxtel subscriber right now? Please let me know. I really want to know. Why are you still subscribed?
And stop that.
Yes, stop it.
See, the thing with Foxtel, they're just a ripoff, right, guys? I mean, they charge you big time, and I think it's because they got the sports on the monopoly there.
Yeah, but now they've got KO.
KO.
So here you go. Here's a comparison. So install for Foxtel is $100, but they also have Foxtel Now and Foxtel Go.
Oh no, Lewis's parents, man, they're stuck with. No, sorry, Lewis.
And then you've got a top box that you have to buy, and then you've got the monthly fee for certain things, and then it's on contract. There's no free trial, and the minimum cost ends up being $1,000. Now that's the old school version of satellite TV or cable TV, as you might call it. We're past that. We're on the internet now, guys.
Yeah.
Internet
Internet is here, guys. No need for cable.
It's gonna be interesting. But there's no 4K on binge.
Ooh.
No 4K at all.
At all. But they do have 4K movies and TV shows.
Yes, but binge is not going to support it, and there's literally no plans to support 4K binge. Like, it's not going to do it.
Oh, that's not good.
I read it this morning because I was doing my dirt report that's going to be out tomorrow. No 4K.
You're going to slam them?
Not really.
Okay.
I think it's more of a choice to like start off and say, because 4K costs a lot. 4 times 1080p. So in regards to maintaining data, streaming, and the data that you have to, on AWS, you have to push that information out. Yeah. 4K is a lot. Like it's a cost per megabyte, kilobyte. Every kilobyte costs.
Okay, the stream is killing it. Right, that's why. Okay.
So if I'm Netflix, I have a big server. But between me and the server in the world, I have to pay whoever I'm getting the server from for every megabyte that goes out.
That is a lot of data to stream.
So when you're setting up an app like this, having it no 4K is actually a really good move. So somebody here is smart.
Somebody's going to get a cookie for that move. Well done.
What do we have?
I guess it's because HBO is not as big as the other contenders, and Stan can allow to do so because it's a local streaming platform here in Australia, founded in Sydney.
Yep. Owned by who is it? Channel 9 and Foxtel. Is it owned by both? Has Foxtel got their dirty paws?
I don't know. I want to say it's independent of Foxtel. I hope, maybe.
I'll check that.
Yeah. Okay, for those that still do have Foxtel, I'd be keen to know what kind of shows are drawing you to it? Because I know when Game of Thrones was around, you know, that was the reason to get Foxtel.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, I want to know what happens next. But
Yeah.
but what is on there actually nowadays that you know, that sucks you guys in?
Stan is Channel 9, so I just found that on there.
Oh, Stan equals Channel 9.
I was just going to say, I got to agree with Raul. Amazon Prime absolutely gives the best value for money. You get Prime, you get shipping, and the shows.
And it's so cheap. It's $7.
$6, $7? $6.99.
Yeah, $6.99. And you get 4K with that. Boom, chakalaka.
There is no other service that offers 4K on the one package.
Yeah.
Like even how much? Remember when you got your 4K TV, you upgraded to 4K Netflix just to have a look what it looked like. Have you gone back down to?
Oh, Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on 1080p with Netflix.
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much, $20 a month. I'm like, I'm poor, man. I'll just...
$20 is a lot.
Yeah. See, I could have either Netflix and Prime or just Netflix 4K. I'm like, yeah, I'll have both.
Both,
and just,
yeah.
Just
For the same
1080p
cost.
Netflix is fine for me.
My wife watches Outlander, so that's pretty cool. You can't really get it anywhere else.
Oh, so that's on Foxtel?
That's on Foxtel.
Oh, yeah.
And Selling Houses Australia, love the show. And also the other one that you can never get is My House, My Castle, and Better Home. No, sorry, not Better Homes. What's the one with that British guy? He's been doing it for years. I always watch it on the plane or whenever I'm at a person's house who's got Foxtel.
Right.
You guys can let us know in the comments. The guy who goes around interviewing people who are building really amazing homes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really good. You just sit back and you can probably smoke a blunt and just relax. Like, it's great.
It's so great. Wow.
It's one of those shows.
Tell me about the house, man.
So let's jump on to our next topic. I want to just briefly talk about this bit of technology. I suppose we are a tech and gaming. Oh, Grand Design. Thank you, Hammy.
Oh, Grand Design.
Do you remember watching Grand Design?
I remember the Grand Design. My parents love that stuff.
It's good. So Intel has released their 10,000 series of CPUs.
Oh yes, the 10,000 series.
All right, great. If you're Intel, go ahead, upgrade. If you're a couple of versions behind and you're building your next computer, you can choose between AMD and Intel. The only problem I have just sort of noticed, and actually I might have, there we go. So I recently got an AMD card sent to me for review, and I wanted to show you. This is the 5600 XT, and it says here PCI 4. Now PCI 4. Please show me a motherboard that supports PCI 4.
There is none.
Well, not yet anyway.
Oh, okay.
So apparently AMD has cards motherboards that support PCI 4, right? Yeah. Very expensive. They're like $800 a pop, Australian.
Aww.
And then Intel just released their new bloody CPUs, and no motherboard supports PCI 4.
I mean, there's got to be something. You can't tell me there's processors without motherboards. You're blowing my mind here.
I read that you couldn't...
The X570 boards?
Yeah, X570
okay.
don't have... whatever the Intel one was, don't have PCI 4. Like, I was literally looking at on PLE to go buy, and I'll just... this is so stupid. I was going to buy... Because I'm on 7700K, and it's coming up to my 3-year... upgrade cycle.
Yes. As Patrick's cycle is coming around.
And I was going to buy a CPU and motherboard and a graphics card when the 3000 series comes out from NVIDIA.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, well, I better prepare. Maybe I can buy the motherboard now because I expect the 3000 series to be on PCI 4.
Yeah.
Express or whatever.
That's what I expect too, yeah.
I expected that. So when I went to motherboards and I went, okay, so the new Intel socket. Oh, my God.
This PLE.
Motherboards, Intel. So the new Intel socket is 1200, right? These are the new motherboards, and the one I was looking at was this one here, the Strix 489. I already have a Strix one, but it's DDR3. And this, obviously this PCI slot is not bloody Gen 4. It's just Gen 3. And if I find the actual bit here, SATA, where is it? If I just go search... search PCIe. There you go. 3.0.
What?
No 10th Intel Gen CPU motherboard has PCI 4 right now. You can't buy it. There's no.
Is it just in Australia or like?
Well,
worldwide?
I was looking. So then of course I had to Google, and find a motherboard that does it. There is no currently. What happened was the motherboard manufacturers didn't have enough time before the release to put in the chipset or the things for it. But apparently there are rumors that they can potentially do a BIOS upgrade to allow it. But it's not going to be on paper, and it's not going to be full speed.
Oh, that's lame.
So then...
Wow, it's like that NBN thing, man. Never at full speed.
Never at full speed. So then we look at... let's look at AMD now. So if we go to AMD AM4, and I'm just going to grab the most expensive one because that's probably the easiest way to show this. Sort by price, and...
you got the cheapest one.
Wait, yeah, so do I have to
Scroll to the bottom.
Okay. So 1300 there. I don't even know when that releases, but AM4 X570, which is the one.
Oh yeah, the one that was mentioned. Yeah.
And what does it say?
By Ray.
Worldwide is you have to wait for the next Intel. Yeah, you have to wait for the next Intel if you want to go on PCI. AMD.
Yeah.
Has pretty much won this generation because.
Wow, go Team Red, I guess.
Go Team Red. So let me find this. I hate doing this on the fly, but product specification. What? Are you not going to give me specification? Are you?
Nah, it's too expensive for that, man.
Yeah, let me find something like. I think I was looking at $800 before. I wasn't going to buy this, but.
Oh, here we go.
All right, now Control Find PCIe Gen 4.
Oh.
Now, do you want to know?
Red is ahead.
Do you want to know the next problem that you're going to face?
What kind of bottlenecks are we talking about here?
No. The Zen 3,
Yes.
the next one,
Yes.
apparently... Oh, no, hang on, that's changed. No, it will support these motherboards.
Oh, so we're good.
It was not... A week ago when I was doing this, and this is why I sort of thought of it, it wasn't going to support it wasn't going to support the X570. You're going to have to get a new one for the new CPU.
Oh.
But now it will.
All right.
So literally, if you're a shopper in need of a new new gaming computer, right?
Yeah.
You've got the choice of Intel PCI 3, and then you look at this, it's got one number up, +1, PCI 4. What are you going to buy? What are you going to buy when the 3000 series comes out and you have a PCI 4 card? Like, this is coming out now and it's got PCI 4.
Yeah.
An AMD card on AMD. Intel has screwed up.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yes.
I was going to spend nearly $1,000.
I think the communication between the motherboard...
They rushed it.
Yeah, producers. Oh, that's mine.
Yeah.
They've messed up, man, big time. The communication was poor. I think that. I think you know what happened.
What?
Maybe this whole pandemic thing has created a ripple effect where these guys were just slightly ahead, and the production with the motherboards was actually just that tad behind. And when the pandemic came into motion, the producers of the motherboards got hit the most.
Here's a line from the article. Intel's original plan was to finally bring PCIe 4 support on this generation of motherboards. Sadly, the chipmaker ran into some problems with the Comet Lake chipset and just decided to abandon the idea completely. It just sounds like they rushed the new Intel CPUs. They're not particularly great. Yep, they're faster. They do apparently they have fixed the power draw issues. They've fixed that, which used to make the chip run really hot. But at the moment, AMD seems to be the clear choice. And I'm tempted to upgrade to an AMD. I might have to go AMD. I've been on Intel for 2 generations. And then before that, I had AMD Phenoms. No, what was it? Not Threadripper. It was... I think we've had this conversation before, but in any case...
Bulldozer or something.
Bulldozer,
yeah.
Like that, the garbage... Yeah, Bulldozer is terrible.
Yeah, the garbage.
So I think I might have to go AMD because there's no choice, and I have to upgrade for a Cyberpunk.
You have to, man. You have to. I mean, look, the 10 series of Intel is great. We know it's good. They're good, great things with it. It's just that stuff up that they have done there, and the fact that AMD has been really surpassing them with the tech and all that.
Not only have they priced the CPUs really well,
they priced it well.
They have performed really well. Like, they're not beating them in gaming performance. Let's be really frank about this. Single core performance is still on Intel's side.
Right.
But multi-core and rendering for videos is on AMD's side.
That's right.
They've done so well. Let us know in the comments who's on AMD, who's on Intel.
Yeah, let's check out the ratios here.
Yeah. Oh, Hammy, you're on AMD now. Cool. Dean, you're on.
Yeah.
Are you on AMD in Dean, or are you just saying that it's $100 or dropped $100
Right, US
today?
Whoa.
I wonder. I'll raise on AMD. I wonder how much difference it's gonna make for us here in Australia.
Yeah.
Intel i5, cool. Yeah, 8400. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's decent gaming.
It's decent, yeah.
8400
Gaming specs. I mean, I myself was an Intel man
Yeah.
until I saw the creep happening in the last 2 years, and I'm like, whoa, where is AMD coming out of the shadows all of a sudden? And I've switched. Yeah, I've switched,
Yeah.
and I'm happy now. You know that we resolved the little hiccup that I had, but it's good, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the. Do you know why you had that issue?
Why?
Because motherboard.
Tell me why.
Tell me. Because motherboard providers or the
Yeah.
things just didn't trust AMD. They didn't put enough effort.
Really?
They just didn't.
Yeah, they're like, oh god, it's AMD
Yeah,
again. They just,
damn it.
You know, we just don't even bother, guys.
Yeah, just give them that really shitty one. And because what happened was they had all these motherboards being built, right? And they had some parts that they built for Intel, and they were Intel specific, right? And AMD had to build a CPU that ran on a different, obviously, like chip bit, like the bit that you stick it on. But everything else had to be very similar because motherboard manufacturers didn't want to remake the whole design just for an untrusted AMD who screwed up the bulldozer Phenom line. So now they're building up the repertoire, and finally we're seeing manufacturers actually take on, obviously not this page, but motherboard manufacturers create motherboards that are good. And I'm really excited about that. I'm going to wait until September when Cyberpunk comes out. I'm going to wait until the GTX 3000.
Yeah, wait till the last moment to pounce on those deals, man.
And then if the GTX comes out and AMD is still there, PCI 4, I'm going to have to do it. But
do it.
I'd prefer a small motherboard. Did you buy a big one this time?
I got a small motherboard.
You got a small one?
Yeah.
Why would you need to buy a big motherboard?
I think if you wanted those additional PCIe expansion slots, I think that's the major perk. If you want to do like, I don't know, quad GPU.
SLI.
Yeah, quad SLI.
Well, I used to run SLI on the GTX 980s, and I had to buy a big motherboard. I remember that. But since then, SLI, Crossfire, very little support.
I think so, yeah, it's little support.
Yeah, single graphics cards are now the way to go. Right? Oh, yes, actually,
think so, yeah.
Ray pointed out.
PCI Express SSD.
That's right. If you want a really fast SSD, and PCI Express goes straight to the CPU, so they're the fastest connection. You'll slot it in. But Ray, to add to that, M.2 slots. Most motherboards come with 2, and unless you're going gun ho crazy, PCI Express SSDs are expensive. So I think you do better with an M.2 slot.
Yeah. Yeah, that depends how strapped for cash you are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, M.2 is cheaper too, so yeah. All right,
That takes us to the next point.
Next point, which is... What was the next point?
PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5. All right, we're going to wrap up with this topic.
Yeah.
All down to you, my friend.
All right,
Let me show
here
my
it is,
screen
guys.
here.
So, we have a statement from the man himself, the PlayStation man, that the PS5 could be 100 times faster than the PlayStation 4. There you have it, guys. Now, thank you for joining us on this episode. We'll see you next time.
100 times faster.
Yeah, 100 times faster than the PS4. Now, you hear 100 times faster, what does it mean? Well, the thing is, they're talking about the SSD, and they're pushing that narrative really hard. And I think that seems to be their trump card that they're going with, mainly because we heard Mark Cerny talk about the design philosophy of the motherboard within the next PlayStation 5. And the key was to overcome all the various different bottlenecks that they had on the motherboard. For instance, on the PS4, you can have an SSD. You can have the greatest SSD of all time. But I'm going to let you finish. The thing is that there were a lot of bottlenecks on it. So, an SSD of 100 times faster than the mechanical drive that you have doesn't mean you're going to get 100 times output. You're going to get 4 or 5 times the output. So this is why they have specifically designed the APU in that way, to get the most out of the SSD, to make the seamless loading times for the PS5. I think that's the edge that they want on their competition against their competition, because their competition, being Microsoft, is going with power. These guys are going with speed. We won't see that initially with the first, lineup of games, but later down the line, a few years into the actual console generation, I believe we will see a little bit of a disparity. I don't know how big it's going to be, and is it actually going to make that big of a difference or really change your mind on purchasing one against the other? But we could see seconds, maybe 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds loading times.
Is 1 second loading time gonna change your mind? And you guys, please let us know in the comments. 1 second gonna change your mind which device or which console you choose?
I mean, for me, it's not.
No.
See, if it's like 1 second, I mean, I can wait.
I've got 1 second.
Yeah, I got 1 second. You got my 1 second, guys. All right. Yeah. I think it's, if it's something like 10, 15 seconds, then I'm going to be like, ooh, well, you know what? That's going to save me a lot of time waiting. That's a lot of game time for me. When I stack up the hours, that's going to be a lot of game time.
Right, okay. Let's say it's 30 seconds that you have to wait longer. And remember, there's also exclusives on both consoles.
Yeah.
But let's say 30 seconds and you play maybe a couple of hours a day, a couple of minutes. Over a month, it could be an extra hour that you could be playing.
Exactly. And And imagine if you're a Twitch streamer. That's going to matter for you. Because when you're there on the channel, you want to make things exciting for your viewers. You want to engage with them. And if you're just sitting there waiting, and I mean just chatting with them, or just, you're blankly sitting there not saying anything, or not really entertaining the public because you got nothing to go with to entertain them with, that could push you to the other console.
And I just see Lewis say there that he's all about the PC Master Race.
Yeah.
I want to sort of point out that the consoles now are PCs.
They're pretty much PCs. They're going to be mid-range PCs when they release. In a few years' time, they're going to be low-tier PCs. Yeah.
So just like with a previous generation, when the consoles came out, the PC industry moved on much quicker. And this is the funniest thing. I saw Linus Tech Tips do a video about the SSD that Sony has said. One of the comments that Sony's came out with and said, this SSD is not available, cannot be seen on the market, and you can't get it anywhere.
True. And it's still true.
That's, yeah. And what happened was, Linus just goes, oh, you mean this SSD? You mean this one right here? That's even faster. But the problem was that SSD, he had an SSD that he got from Corsair or somewhere.
Oh my God.
And the problem was that SSD cost like $1,500 to $2,000 Australian dollars.
Okay.
So I guess the idea here is that a PS5 has a speed of a $1,500 SSD. That's not to say that SSD is not going to cost that much in a couple of years for a PC, but it also means that, when you mass manufacture something like a PS5, all the parts start to get very, very cheap. Now, question to you guys before we finish off, unless you've got something else to say. I do have.
No, I was actually going to add on to that. Which is why Sony is going for that particular size of SSD because of affordability. It's an awkward, weird size of 825 gigabytes. They couldn't stretch it to the 1 terabyte because of cost limitations. Whatever else they're going to say.
For OS.
Yeah, for OS as well. But 825, I believe, is the actual capacity. And then OS is probably going to eat into that. You'll have like 750 left.
Wow,
maybe,
okay.
Right? So I think they had to heavily negotiate with AMD and say, or no, I don't think it's AMD. Maybe Samsung? Or
probably Samsung, yeah.
Maybe Samsung's providing them.
Yeah.
And just to fit in within that budget, of whether it's $399 or $499.
Yeah.
So they can make a buck, or they can just cut even, or they can just cover those costs if they need to.
So, friends, in the comments, let us know if... I know we're all PC gamers here. I can see that in the chat.
Yeah, PC Master Race.
If you were to decide between a console like an Xbox X and a PlayStation 5, what would be the 3 things that would make you decide either way? Now, you guys put that in the comments, but I'm going to ask you, what are the 3 things that you're going to... would make you decide?
Make me decide? Okay. I want exclusive titles. That's very important for me. I want visual fidelity. That's important to me as well. And when I say that, I want high frames, and I want pretty graphics. And the last one, I think I want to be a part of the community. So I feel like I'm going to be pushed to get where my friends are.
Right. So if your friends bought a PS5, you'd buy a PS5.
Yeah,
if they bought an Xbox, you'd probably
get an Xbox. If 95% of my friends have Xbox, I'll be thinking, why is that the case?
Yeah.
Is that the better console? Is that, that's where my friends are at.
Yeah.
Perhaps I want to go and join them. I want to game with them. Yeah.
So I agree with exclusives, but I personally hate exclusives. I think it's just not unfair, but it's not. Why should I guess it's sponsored by Sony, but whatever. But I don't like the fact that you have to separate your customers into these specific things. Why not choose the functionality of a console based on the actual functionality of it, right? But look, exclusives, we're in this world. Yeah, it'll have to be that. If there's a game I want to play, I will get that device. But there's also the problem that most people end up with 2 devices. That's the thing. Friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if friends would convince me. I'm a bit stubborn.
Really?
But then I'd feel bad not being able to play with them. But games that you want to play with are not usually exclusives. Have you noticed that most exclusive games are usually single-player experiences?
Correct.
So
Yes.
to keep that in mind, what's Modern Warfare, that's across all consoles, even PC, and also Fortnite, whatever it is. Finally, price.
Yeah.
Like if it's significantly different, like let's say in Australia, it's going to be 800... What's your guess? Let's get this on video. What's your guess for the price of the PlayStation 5 when it arrives?
All right. I'm going to say it's 799 Australian dollars upon release.
What about Xbox?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think they're going to make the mistake they did before. And I reckon they want to match the PS5 and do the same. $799.
I think they'll go $599, $600 for the Microsoft one.
No way, man.
I gotta say it.
That's so cheap. So they're gonna okay, $600 for a
discless, or whatever. If it has a disc, whatever. But yeah,
that's insane.
Do you know why I think? Because I think Microsoft has a better deal on the device parts.
Okay.
I think it's a cheaper platform.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you're saying $599.
$599.
$599.
Yeah.
I'm like $799 for the PS5.
Let's create a highlight here. We're just gonna.
Yeah. You've heard it here, guys.
You heard
First.
it here.
Yeah,
$599.
Pat predictions.
So $799. Okay. So I think the PlayStation 5 will go for $699. $599 and $699. The other thing to note, and this is something that might be a bit weird, is obviously the value of the American dollar versus Australian dollar. If we fall even more, it'll be higher over here. Let's be clear.
Yeah, $3,000. Oh
yeah.
no. Yeah.
And look, this is the argument, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate. Please understand, I love my PC. This is the only thing I usually play games on, but I do have a PlayStation 4 and I've got an Xbox. I rarely play them, but I do play everything. But it is cheaper to buy the console to play games than it is to build a gaming computer today. But in the future, in maybe 12 months' time, the same quality of a PC will be able to match that of a console at the
Over
moment.
time, yeah, you're right. Yeah, later down the line, it'll work out better to build your own. But initially, it's gonna be impossible to match that price.
I'm no psychic, so I don't know. But there's always somebody that puts in first. It's like a thing. But Lewis, I'm gonna put some dollars on you, maybe. Look out for it. But it's gonna be late tomorrow because I'm not gonna have time to edit it tonight. We're going out to a barbecue. In like 20 minutes, but that's okay.
Yep.
And all right, well, let's do it. Let's leave it at that. Casper, where can we find you? Where can we discover your talents?
Well, apart from the Techman Pat channel, guys, you can find me on Game with Casper on both YouTube and Twitch. So come and join me. I love having people around there to chat with when I'm playing a really stressful game, especially. I love hearing some tips and tricks that people can give me, and just to ease my sense of frustration as well.
Or when I need to chat to you and you're not on Messenger.
I
go on his stream and just Yeah, so that thing we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Come and have a yarn. And thanks for having me, Techman Pat.
Thank you. We're hoping to continue this every week, so stay tuned for next week. I just forgot to check back with everybody else. So we've got Dean said price. Yep, no, absolutely. It's it's a big decision. Lewis said functionality, performance, and reasonable price. There you go, price again. Functionality is interesting because technically speaking, they will do the same thing. There might be very slight differences on how it's done, but performance. That's an interesting one because again, they're slated to perform similarly, but then the SSD difference and then the power difference of the higher clocks on Xbox, speed, resolution,
yeah.
LAN access content. So would that mean downloadable content? Dre, do you want to just quickly let me know in there before we go off? What do we got? SSD size, Mike says, screen res. Yes. So screen res is going to be a big one. Like what kind of resolution you can get on TV. Remember, most people will now have 4K TVs, and when you sit a certain distance and you've got 1080p content, you can really see the pixelation. It's really nice when you've got a 4K piece of content on a 4K TV, right?
Gorgeous.
Here's a guess there, Ray says $6.99 for PS5.
Bargain.
What do we got?
$2.99 at the
Chemist Warehouse.
Wait.
What's the weirdest item that you've seen in the Chemist Warehouse?
The weirdest?
Because it obviously sells like perfumes. It sells vitamins and stuff.
I don't know. I've just mostly stuck around pills. I mean, I haven't seen anything unique.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Chocolates. I find that so weird that at the checkouts they sell like Snickers and all these chocolate bars.
Oh, that's random.
I find that so weird. Has anybody bought it? What have we got here? Barbecue. Yes, we were from WA. City Skylines. Yes, that was free on PlayStation 4 this month. City Skylines is free.
I should get it on PS Plus.
It's good fun.
Yep.
And yes, I've built a Skyline City on my PC on the i7 7700K overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz, and I had 120,000 residents, and it started to lag.
Oh no. So the PlayStation is going to catch on fire.
Yeah. Lewis, I'm hoping to do it before lunch WA time. But yeah.
Honey at the Chemist Warehouse. Oh, that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's a vitamin.
It's especially you have honey with your lemon tea or something. Feeling ill.
I can get that. I can get behind that.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
I was gonna say unless it's like Manuka honey, which it's got all that like really expensive. Like you can get honey that costs like $100 for like 200 grams or something. It's insane. Hershey's bars. Let us know also. God, let us know all these things, but.
Before we go, we got 12 more topics.
When we finish these shows, what would probably good to do is do all the chats and comments and stuff. So maybe in the last 5 minutes of every show, we'll do like a chat with you guys and go from there.
Cool.
Well, thanks for watching. I don't know what time I'm going to upload it. Depends on what time I'm going to wake up tomorrow and edit it. There's a lot of stuff I need to go through. It's a long video, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. But thank you very much. Bunnings will sell it to you. Thanks, Ray. Thank you very much for watching. Techman Pat here. Like, subscribe, and obviously Casper will put his links in the bottom there. You will be able to subscribe to his stuff on Twitch and YouTube. The highlights are on YouTube.
Yep,
the best bits are on YouTube. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.
See you guys.